I don't know how many of you have seen the video that came from Manipur. I have. In fact, I saw it last night. And frankly, words fail me today. There are no adjectives that even begin to describe the inhumanity that was on parade in Manipur 77 days ago. A mob of 800 stripping 3 women naked, heckling and molesting them, parading them down a village, and then gang raping the youngest. She's 21. Time has stood still for her since that day. She saw her father and her brother being shot dead as they came to protect her. She saw the cops watching as the mob took over. Then for the next 77 days, she saw the deathly silence of the system. She saw her FIR being buried at the altar of sectarian loyalties. She saw her rapists roam free with weapons in their hands. She saw her state burn. What happened should burn us with shame. For 77 days, ladies and gentlemen, the Manipur government and Manipur police knew about the brutality and they kept silent. For 77 days, they did nothing. Who were they protecting? Who were they protecting? It took the video to go viral for the police to make their first arrest. It happened today, after 77 days. It happened on the first day of the monsoon session, shortly before the Prime Minister spoke.
हिंदुस्तान के किसी भी कोने में, किसी भी की राज्य सरकार में राजनीतिक वाद विवाद से ऊपर उठ करके कानून व्यवस्था का महात्म्य, नारी का सम्मान, और मैं देशवासियों को विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं, किसी भी गुनहगार को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। कानून अपनी पूरी शक्ति से, पूरी सख्ती से एक के बाद एक कदम उठाएगा। मणिपुर की इन बेटियों के साथ जो हुआ है, इसको कभी माफ नहीं किया जा सकता है।
This is the first time the Prime Minister has said anything about the ethnic war that has been raging on in Manipur for the last 78 days. The first time. 145 people have been dead since then. Any right-minded citizen would have said that Manipur should have been top priority for our parliament today. It wasn't. What was hangama over Manipur. Both houses were adjourned twice and then finally adjourned for the day without doing anything meaningful for Manipur or its people. When the leader of the opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, got up to speak, the BJP disrupted. Take a look at what happened.
I am not allowed to raise this 267, and you know the Manipur is burning. And Manipur is burning, and the women are raped and naked, paraded, everything. And Prime Minister is keeping quiet. He is giving a statement outside. He is giving a statement outside. Honorable members.
पश्चिम बंगाल में जिस प्रकार से हिंसा की घटनाएं हुई, जिस प्रकार से छत्तीसगढ़ हो या राजस्थान हो, उसमें नारी शक्ति का बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण परिस्थितियां हैं। ऐसे में जब सरकार ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि हम मणिपुर की घटनाओं पर चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार हैं, उसके बावजूद कांग्रेस और बाकी विपक्षी दल सदन की कार्रवाई को डिस्टर्ब करें, सदन की कार्रवाई में रूल्स के तहत डिस्कशन ना होने दें, ये स्पष्ट दिखाता है कि पूरी तरीके से कांग्रेस और विपक्ष सदन की कार्रवाई को चलने नहीं देना चाहती है।
उस वीडियो को देखने के बाद अगर आपके पास मात्र 36 सेकंड का वक्त है और आप सभ्य समाज की दुहाई दे रहे हैं, तो दुर्भाग्य है इस देश का कि आप इस देश के चुने हुए प्रधानमंत्री हैं। 77 दिन बाद स्मृति ईरानी जी आप जागी हैं। सत्ता आपके हाथ में है, संस्थाएं आपके पास है, पुलिस आपके पास है, बीरेन सिंह को बर्खास्त करना आपके हाथ में है। आप चुप बैठे।
What governance is happening till this chief minister is there will be no justice. These killings will continue. So, for the sake of justice and to bring back normalcy, the Prime Minister should remove his chief minister and order a CBI inquiry and have a proper discussion in Lok Sabha. And I am really shocked and surprised that a Prime Minister of 130 crore nation watches a video and then shows his pain. You are in power. Your party is in power in the state. Had that video not come out, what would have the Prime Minister done? He would have kept quiet. That is the most unfortunate part of this whole the reply of the Honorable Prime Minister.
This incident happened on the 3rd of May and the Prime Minister should have been aware of it, must have been aware of it. And he was not aware. If he's not aware, then something wrong with the system. And in any case, the kind of things that are happening in Manipur, the arson, the loot, the killings, the burnings, has the Prime Minister been silent? I mean, since May 2nd.
Today, we've also heard from Manipur's Chief Minister. Under him, Manipur has burnt for 78 days. Today, he said the state's cyber police is looking at this video. After 77 days, ladies and gentlemen, the state's cyber police, according to the Chief Minister, is still looking at the video. 77 days.
देखो, इसमें स्टेट फोर्स, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स और जितना सेंट्रल फोर्सेस हैं, इसको हम लोग स्ट्रेंथन करना पड़ेगा। वो स्टेट फोर्स और पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस इंक्लूडिंग आर्मी, इसको स्ट्रेंथन करा के जो जहाँ वल्नरेबल एरिया है, जहाँ में जो फायरिंग हो रहा है, ये जगह को डोमिनेट करके अगर फायरिंग वगैरह ना चले तो अपने आप ये बच्चों में फील करेगा कि हम लोग शांति है, तो हम लोग बंदूक उठाने का क्या ज़रूरी नहीं है। तो इन द मीन टाइम हम लोग पुलिस और आर्मी, असम राइफल सब मिलके हम लोग अभी बहुत हिल इन द वैली मास कॉम्बिंग ऑपरेशन करके हथियार को कलेक्शन रिकवर करना है। ये तो हमने चालू भी है और रिकवर भी करना है, इसको रिकवर करेंगे।
Today, as words failed us, the Supreme Court spoke for the nation. The Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, took up the matter suo moto and said, and I quote, "Using women as instruments in an area of communal strife to inflict gender violence is deeply, deeply disturbing." He said, this is the grossest of human rights violations. He has asked the government to act fast in the case, else, he said, the court will have to intervene. Ladies and gentlemen, the court's remarks today need to be heard over and over again by all of us. Because the court went on to demand answers about what action has been taken to ensure that such an incident is not repeated, and about whether it's an isolated incident or a pattern. The court is asking the government this question. Have more such rapes happened? And then the court said this. And I quote the Chief Justice of India. He said, across history and across the world, the use of women as an instrument to perpetrate violence in these situations happened, and at least in a constitutional democracy, this is unacceptable. Now, the Congress party not just raked up the issue in the parliament, but they also took it to the streets. The All India Mahila Congress staged a massive protest in the national capital near Jantar Mantar today over the video that has emerged from Manipur. Those are the pictures on your screens. On the other hand, thousands have hit the streets of Manipur's Churachandpur after the horrific video of the two women being paraded naked went viral. So there were protests in Manipur and in Delhi as well. Let me go straight across to... Okay. We'll try and go across to our correspondent Nibir, who will be joining us on the phone line in just a bit. For the moment, let me go across to our guests who are with us this evening. Dr Charu WaliKhanna is a former member of the NCW. She's also a senior advocate. Yashwardhan Azad is a former IPS officer. And Dr. Wakip is a former journalist. He's an assistant professor right now at the Center for the Study of Law and Governance. Thank you all very much for joining us. Dr. WaliKhanna, can I just start by asking you whether you've seen the video and what your first reaction to it was?
Who are you asking the question to?
Dr. Charu WaliKhanna, this question was for you.
Yeah.
Dr. Charu WaliKhanna, this question is for you.
Absolutely. I feel that my first reaction was not disbelief, but of total shock and disgust, because I feel that we've gone 200 years back. Women are used as instruments in war and in areas of conflict just to send a message to the community. Whether it was a Mughal army which was raiding the Rajputs and the women had to commit sati, this is almost like a repetition of that, which is really, really disturbing, that when on one hand we're talking about we're a modern India, upcoming economy, number two, and this is the condition, and how those women are being brutalized. And let me tell you that this video may have come out after 77 days, so we don't know what's happening. The news, I'm sorry to say, the media has not been covering this. Manipur is burning for more than 2 months. And what have the politicians done? What has the media done to raise the issue? And very conveniently, the chief minister ought to resign. But very conveniently, he is giving yarn that we will increase these forces and we will increase the CSF. And one minister whom you interviewed, he's talking about Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. I mean, what is wrong with them? You've got such a horrible situation where there's been absolutely egregious violation of human rights of women. That clearly shows that the government in the state does not consider women equal and they have no value in their eyes. And these things are emboldening others, because what we are seeing is not only in Manipur, whether it's the Wrestling Foundation, chief who's been getting bail. So people have no respect for women. Women are not valued in our country. Unfortunately, महिलाओं को सम्मान नहीं मिलता. And they are there just to be used sexually. They have become commodities. And we are devaluing them. Instances like this are devaluing women, and entire development that has happened and the empowerment of women and the Beti Bachao campaign, the entire efforts have been washed by this one incident which has come to light. And this, let me tell you, must not be the only incident. This must be happening frequently. It's just because it's got viral. It's what
the Supreme Court has said today. The Supreme Court has asked that question today. They are saying, who knows if this is a pattern? Dr. Wakip, you come from Manipur. I want to ask you how it was possible for an incident of the gravity that we have seen on our, on our phones, be completely curtained for the last 77 days. I'm just wondering to myself, if there was a video, if this happened, if there was a video, how come it took 77 days for all of us to know the exact horror that women are going through in Manipur?
Shreya, as we all know, in Manipur, mobile internet accesses has been cut for the last 2.5 months, and this has been preventing all the the kind of videos and pictures that were kept for so long. So it is the case of communication being prevented to the other parts of India. So the kind of sexual violence that we are observing yesterday, of course, it happened on the 4th of May after the first violence happened. So this sexual violence is committed to show domination over the other, that is the minorities. It is atrocity on the minority, and all these atrocities on the minorities have been kept in abeyance because of this internet shutdown for the last 1.5 months. So, there has been no law and order in the state since 3rd May, as we all know. And whether this has been done intentionally or not is another debate. but the police has been divided on ethnic lines, and there has been so much kind of differences among ethnic communities, and there has been so much message of hate. Much of violence has been committed on all areas of the state. So all this kind of violence has been prevented to reach Delhi, and this has been mostly successful with the curbing of the internet. So what we need to look into it right now is the kind of violence that has been committed. Just as we show today, we have been writing on these cases on the rape and others, and it's just because yesterday it surfaces on the social media that came to light, and it shook the conscience of people. And there are many other web news and others that have been reporting about this. And there are also other brutalities. For instance, two women who were walking in a garage were raped and murdered. They were the residents of Kopipung village. And those two women has never been talked about. This shook the conscience of the majority Indians, because it came out in the social media, it's visible. But there are many other invisible atrocities that have been committed on the 3rd and 4th of
So,
May.
Dr. Howkip, Dr. Howkip, you're telling us, Dr. Howkip, what the Supreme Court suspects is then true. That the one gang rape that we are talking about is not the only gang rape. There have been others as well. Point is, why have these instances then not come to the notice of India at large? If there is an FIR, how can you keep these FIRs hidden? How can you keep this information hidden? Let me get the cop in here. Yashwardhan Azad, the FIR that was finally filed is filed against unknown persons. How are these persons unknown if they are on video? If the faces of the girls and the identity of the girls is absolutely clear in these videos, so is the identity of the monsters. We can all see them. We know exactly who they are. How was this FIR then lodged against unknown people? And what do you make of the fact that the first arrest in this came only after 77 days, only after the video went viral?
Yes, Shreya, there are a lot of issues involved in this. First of all, let me say at the very outset that we should hang our heads in shame in any civilized society to watch this happening, which is something beyond the pale of humanity and humanity, and it borders on, monstrosity. I mean, this has never happened. I don't know. For a cop, is perhaps the worst dastardly crime that you can ever think of. Now, as far as the FIR is concerned, you're absolutely right. We have been debating on your channel that stopping the internet connection is wrong. It's hurting the economy. It's hurting the people. It's hurting crime investigation. And mind you, in this particular case, when the poor group was running away, they were sort of they met with a police party. And they were released, they were taken away, snatched away from the police party, and then this happened. So naturally, the police had seen everything, and an alert police would have immediately seen who were the kind of people who have gone to attack the village, and they should have immediately registered an FIR themselves, which was not done, and it was done ultimately by the victims' relatives. So that shows you that today Manipur is so paralyzed that if a police station in which Maitis are there in Maiti-dominated area, they will not act against their people. And if it is in Kuki-dominated area, then they cannot act out of fear. The entire Parliamentary, the entire police, and the entire army has been complaining of various things, but the actions have not taken place. So it clearly shows that I don't know when the video was made available. Video must have been made available to the police now after the internet connections, etc., have been restored. But the FIR was already there, and they did not act. whether out of fear, whether out of slothfulness, and mostly out of sheer, inactivity where they felt nothing should be done and nobody would be noticed. What I'm shocked about that there were senior officers, there were senior police officers, there is that entire security grid, and none of them saw this, because this kind of crime should alert you immediately. And if the withdrawal of the weapons, and if cases would have, if the arrests would have started taking place, maybe there would have been an abatement in the situation over there. And therefore, complete inactivity of the police stations has led to this kind of a mayhem, which actually looks out of control. And I agree with the last panelist, Dr. Haukip, when he says that we don't know if there are other incidents too. And maybe some more videos will surface, which will put us to shame even further. As far as the CM is concerned, it's laughable. It's really laughable, Shreya. The kind of things he's saying after so many days when 150 people have been killed, that we should scour the area and we should get paramilitary. Amazing. That's your job. You should have done it the very first day. And that's why, once again, let me tell you, this man should be sacked. There should be a president's rule immediately. There should be a set of 3 advisors. And immediately now the time has come for shoot at sight and to get the situation under control. You can't get away these, bands, whether they are from Maithis or the Kukis or Nagas or whatever it is, but to bring a state order, because what is happening is unimaginable. Shreya.
What is happening is unimaginable. It is also something that is completely inhuman. I'm fairly certain there will be intrepid journalists who are already in Manipur who are talking to possibly other rape survivors as well. So this story is not over. This is a Pandora's box that has opened with this video, Dr. Charu WaliKhanna, and we are going to see more such cases come out. In your sense, who was the government trying to protect? Look, the point is, if something as brutal, as horrendous as this happens, the Chief Minister knows, the Home Minister knows, probably the Prime Minister knows.
The Chief Minister,
well.
they're trying to protect the Chief Minister. He should have
yet,
resigned. He should have been asked to resign. And if he didn't resign, he should have been thrown out. And they should have imposed President's rule. Just now also, it's the centre party which is ruling. And President's rule also means that the centre will rule. At least they would have had a better administration. Immediate action should have been taken. And I totally agree with Yashowardhanji that shooter site orders should be issued. That does not mean you're going to shoot, but that the fear it will create, because now mobs of different tribal groups are, acting against the other. And the weakest, who is in society, who is the weakest link? The woman. And if you want to send a message to a particular society, what do? You rape them. Whether it's a Dalit woman who's raped by a, upper caste, or it's a tribal woman who's raped by another, another tribe. And I want to really, it's really shameful, because the states of the Northeast talk about their rich tribal customs, their culture, and who are these people? They are doing it to their own people. And then you're talking about your customs, your culture, and you're taking an exemption by way of the schedules under the Constitution of India. You should have the Uniform Civil Code all over India. No exemption for any person. Only then women will be valued. This is how you're treating your own women in the state, and you're showing the people of the world and the rest of the country that this is how you treat your own women. I mean, it's shocking, it's shameful, it's disgusting.
Dr. Haukip,
look at the mindset. That shows that the India
has been paraded naked in Manipur. It is India. Charuji, this is the entire country.
Charu, I beg
Bharati, just a minute, just a minute, Dr. Haukip. Just a minute, Dr. Haukip. I just want to make a point that these were not just 2 Manipuri women or 3 Manipuri women who were stripped naked, molested, harassed, heckled, and one of them gang raped. This is Ma Bharati. This is our country that has been stripped naked 77 days ago.
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Haukip, you were trying to make a point. Please go ahead.
This is how we treat our women.
8 minutes.
Yes, I just want to make
Dr.
clarify
Hakib,
that
you
the
wanted to
women who
disagree
have
with
been
Charu.
raped and paraded are tribals from the Kuki Joe ethnic community, but the perpetrators, the Métis, are not tribals. They are they are from different sections of the society. They are not, and they have been demanding, and such violence it came out because they demanded to be included in the scheduled tribe list of the constitution. So we have to, we have to distinguish between who are the perpetrators and who are the, the people who have been victim for the last 2.5 months. The tribals have been in the receiving end of this kind of majoritarian government that we have in Manipur. So we have to distinguish between who are the victims of sexual violence, who are the tribal ethnic minorities, who have their own culture and customs, and who have so far been restraining from all such kind of sexual violence. And the perpetrators,
Okay.
we don't have to equalize them because they are from different sets of communities who are basically non-tribal and who have been prided of having a kingdom for the last
This is a civil
1,000
war.
years.
Then,
So people with such kind
Dr.
of
Hakib, then this is a civil war. This is a civil war that is underway for the last 78 days in Manipur. Nothing else then. This is a civil war. Yashovardhan Azad is someone who served in the police forces for a really long time. I want to understand from you how it is possible that for the last 78 days, the entire might of the Indian state, the Assam Rifle, the Indian Army, the Manipur police, the Manipur government, have failed to bring peace to Manipur. Manipur has been burning for 78 days. If there was political will, this violence would have stopped on day 5. It is day 78. Is there a lack of political will, which is why we are seeing the situation in Manipur get from bad to worse? I mean, the center can go and tell the Supreme Court that things are getting better in Manipur, but slowly, clearly, things are not getting better. A day after the submission was made by the center to the Supreme Court, there were again murders and beheadings in Manipur. So the violence isn't stopping. What has stopped is internet connection, because of which most of us in the media do not have a full picture of what is happening in Manipur. So in a sense, the media has failed Manipur as well.
You're absolutely right. In fact, the stoppage of the internet connection was keeping the violence down, because nobody knew what kind of violence is being committed now that we have come to know. And I think it's a complete failure of not only political will, but a collective will, because you can see inactivity on the parts of almost everyone. For the first thing, the center just did not react, because you're right, the responsibility lies with the state government or with the center. And one center says that, they have introduced a security advisor there, and the central paramilitary forces are there, and the army is there, then it's extremely important that they act in a tough fashion. I have a feeling, Shreya, that there is a kind of a weakness to get into the thick of things and act very, very tough, because nobody wants to take any kind of a responsibility. First of all, if there is no direct, direction from the leadership, and you still have a discredited chief minister who's been blamed by everyone, even when the mighty community is expressing its loss of confidence in the chief minister, then why are you keeping him there? I don't even understand, Shreya, the political gains for the center in keeping this man. The only way you can tackle is, when you had that solidarity march, the tribal solidarity march, you're right, within 5 days, the situation would have been brought under control, because in that name of that march, things were getting burned. The underground militants had been there. There had been those organizations who wanted to create trouble, but the action was delayed. And as far as, unfortunately, the local police is concerned, it's absolutely divided on ethnic lines, and as yet they have not reorganized the local police to even get back the weapons. Scouring the countryside will not help, but registering cases against all and sundry who had taken these weapons will create a salutary difference. Therefore, the things which are the basic things which are required are not being done. And unless the chief minister is dismissed, president rule is imposed, a set of three advisors are brought in, the situation cannot be brought under control unless you act tough and brutal. That is the only way. Shreya.
The fact is that Biren Singh needs to go. He should have been sacked many, many days ago. The fact is, it is under his watch that Manipur has burnt for 78 days. It is under his watch that 145 people have been killed. It is under his watch that his state is seeing a civil war. It is under his state, his watch that you've had 3 women paraded naked on camera and then one of them being gang raped. This is on him. I don't understand why the BJP needs to protect a man who cannot protect the women in his state. It's beyond comprehension. We leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Azad, thank you. Good to have you on the show. Dr. Haukip, thank you very much. And Dr. Charu WaliKhanna, thank you very much as well. I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's much more on the other side. Do stay with us.